Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening to all of the people who join us after the live. Good evening to everyone with us here this evening. We have some issues to address and deal with urgent in the public space, and we're going to, while we wait on everybody else to gather, I thought I would share something that Steve Jobs said. By the time Steve Jobs died, Apple was the most powerful company in the world, wealthiest company in the world. And Steve Jobs said, he had this commencement speech that he gave to Stanford University, and was it Stanford University? Sorry, I apologize. But he gave them 3 stories. And the first story is called Connecting the Dots. Connecting the dots is important, and I'll tell you why. We are going to deal with all the issues of Rowley and Kwamina and all the bullshit and AV oil and all of that. We're dealing with that tonight. But we had to get to there, and we have some steps we had to take. So while people come in, let's get those steps. He said at the end of this first story, again, what he said. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking back 10 years later. Again, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. When I read him say that, I thought, we are kindred spirits. We are tapped into the same Wasia manifesto. We believe the same thing. Looking back at my life, today, I am in politics and activism as much as I am today, because 10 years ago, today, which is also my mother's birthday, 10 years ago today, 4 hours from now, my life almost ended in Barataria. A truck broke a major road, slammed into the Prado I was driving. And for the next year, my life was pain, torture, and therapy. Lots of money spent. But lying on the bed in the hospital, what would be the equivalent of tomorrow night, and alone, and feeling my arm had swollen bigger than my thigh, and they had wrapped it up in what looked like foam to just secure everything. So it was huge, and it was on top of me. And I woke up from the first surgery, and I couldn't feel my arm. I woke up from the first surgery that I had 4 surgeries from that accident. If you look at the back of my arm, you will see a long scar, and if you look into the scar, you'll see more scars. On my Facebook profile, there's an album called The Accident and Other Oh My God Moments. You can check that out. All of these scars here are from that accident. This is actually from being dragged on the road. I don't know if you could see it, but that was my arm because the vehicle spun around on my arm. So this is the road, the gravel on the road, grating flesh away. It was a frightening, frightening realization. Lying on that bed 24 hours later, when I woke up, I couldn't feel my arm. I was in the hospital. And it's not that you couldn't feel it like your arm fall asleep, but it's like if you touch something that is not you, you're feeling you touching it, but you're not feeling, you can't feel the other thing. And that's how it felt to me. And I didn't know if I was going to lose my right arm. The doctor, Godfrey Araho, who pretty much saved my arm, told me, he was honest, he said, it's going to be tricky. We can't call what you have a break as a crush. It broke here and here. This piece in the middle spun right off, and it split straight down the middle. What happened was, I'm driving in a northerly direction away from Republic Bank Sports Club, and that truck hits me. He is heading in an easterly direction, flat out. He just flies straight through that major road. and he hit my left back door, right? He hit the left back door and the left back wheel. So it had the effect of, it pushed the forward momentum of my vehicle all the way around and flipped it over. So by the time it flipped on its side, my hand automatically, reflexively, braced myself. But the vehicle was on its side, spinning on the road, and it spun on my arm and around my arm, right round, and broke it up. Anywho, yeah, and you can't tell that, if I don't tell you, you won't know, because they did a marvelous job. Godfrey Araho, he really did, and all of the people who work at Fracture and Orthopedic Clinic, and all of the doctors and nurses at St. Clair Medical Center, and everybody who were involved and assisted me. I mean, I will forever be in your debt that I have an arm. To Anna Salvatore, who was the person who was responsible for my therapy after it was all over, and I had to, because when it was done and they told me I could start back to use my arm, it was locked in this. I had about, that was the range of motion, because the joint had gotten calcified. And Anna Salvatore had to work with me and get my arm back. And I only lost about 1 degree or 2 degrees. And I only know when I'm trying to fold down my collar, if I'm tying a tie, I feel it then. I had to sue insurance company and my lawyer, Nadine Ratiram of NS Ratiram and Company. Amazing. I mean, it was a time, and it was a time. And lying down in that bed, I realized, because when that accident happened, I had plans for the next day, I had appointments for the next week, I had a lot of stuff going on, and all of it spilled out into the road in Barataria. And lying on that bed, I realized how unimportant I really was, and how in the blink of an eye, it could be over. And what would I have done with my life? And I realized then, I've always been conscious and awoke, but I'm part of society. So it's hard to separate the you that is conscious and awoke, that knows that society is set up bullshit and it's wrong, having people hustle, put them in school at 5 and bring them out of work at 65 and tell them go home and dead. Because all the little weekends and the little holidays, the little drunk, none of it is a life. And we have to address that. And I'm proud that countries like Holland and Finland and Sweden and Switzerland, even Japan, are leading the way back to people. We live in the age of information now. You don't have to be everybody getting to work in town for 6, 7 o'clock. That done. That finished. Those days done in a real world. I mean, we are heartbeat away from children not having to go to school to get real education. Could you imagine if all the children in the country were able to be homeschooled on a TV, on a computer, on a tablet, and Albert Einstein teaching physics? And the point I'm trying to make is that the world that we live in, this life that we live in, is madness. And I realized that night, lying on that bed, hustling for more, just for more sake, is, they have this saying, it is sad to come to the end of the road dying, not having fully lived. And I realized that my life, I mean, I did a lot for people, and I did a lot. I used to do stuff, but not to the level that I did after this accident. After this accident, my life eventually became fully committed as a social and political activist, formed the Jericho Project, the largest charity in this country. People don't even know. We have no funding. Jericho Project deals with the homeless, the orphans, the disabled. We deal with the people that none of the other fancy charities really deal with. We go in Riverside Plaza car park, and not to the bourgeois homeless on the upper floors. We deal with the homeless at the bottom floors, at the bottom floor, the ground floor, who they don't even qualify to be homeless and treated by the state. They literally go and lie down there and wait to die. We deal with them. We deal with the orphans. Jericho Project every year has an event called the Kids Funathon for all the orphans. In this October, in 2 weeks, we having it again. You don't hear me talk about those things. You don't hear me talk that we do all of that. I'll never politicize that. I wanted me to make sure that my father used to tell me when I was small, to whom much is given, much is expected. That drilled into my head. When you have an ability above and beyond your need, anything that you gather after that is greed. A car is a car. If you have a gold-plated car that costs 500 times the value of a car, that is your ego. And it would be better for the world that you were never born. You serve no purpose, none, to nobody. You are of value to nothing. Society is supposed to be a we thing. For society to work, all of us have to be working together to make sure that all of us okay. And I grew up in Woodbrook, and I knew that kind of life growing up in Woodbrook. I don't tell people one people under one flag and every creed and race having an equal place. I grew up on O'Connor Street. The Elias Syrian family was on top. Next to them was the Huggins family and the Surretts and the Chins. My best friends were Pushettes, red people, Edgel, white people, Kaulesa, Indian people, Young, Chinese people. We lived like a little United Nations without knowing it. All of us used to spend, our community center on the street was the poorest woman on the street. Now, where all of you who know Movino car park on O'Connor Street used to be Millie house. Millie and Ursi Reese, black people. But their house, and they were the poorest people on the street, and that's where everybody children used to go and lie. Because Millie and Ursi used to treat everybody like family. And I grew up in a world like that. I grew up in a world where black, white, red, green, every shade in between, all of these one family. I grew up in a world where they have no, we have, and you don't have, so I can't spend time with you. Who have share? I grew up in a world where in our yard we had an avocado tree, and we had a mango tree, and we had a lime tree. And we used to get our avocado, our mango, and our lime. But once we get ours, everything else after is to share. Mango season. You and everybody yard, avocado season. I remember me and Rocky Garcia went and raid Leonard Edgel avocado tree and sell avocados outside Disco Mart for $2 for one to make money for a house party when we was 10 years old. And to buy cokes from Chin shop, no, Mamlo shop, opposite St. Teresa's Church. It's still there. Well, then it was a galvanized shed. I remember standing up outside Disco Mart. Disco Mart was on the corner of Lewis Street and Arapita Avenue, where that big casino is now. That used to be a grocery called Disco Mart. Across the road, that pub was Rambaran's drugstore. I grew up in Woodbrook. I used to ride Arapita Avenue. I grew up on the foreshore, well, before the foreshore was a foreshore freeway. And the Trinidad that I know, and the place that I grew up in, was a place where community didn't need to say it was a community. When we, I guess, got a little better off, for some reason we went to live in West Moorings. And West Moorings, for all the nice West Moorings, they say it nice, West Moorings don't have that kind of community life. They don't have a shop and a parlor and a grocery and a drugstore inside West Moorings. People don't live in communities like West Moorings, and they have middle-class ghettos like West Moorings, and they have low-class ghettos like what the government is built as HTC, and all of them is the same ghetto. That's not a real community. A community is people working together and living together and happy together and working. We're going forward. And when people talk about the good old days when we didn't have all the crime and all the murder and all the killing, it's because all of us used to live together. And it's hard for people to get away with shit because everybody know everybody. So called, we all the way in Trinidad, they used to say we Mako. Everybody's a mako. Everybody know everybody business, but it was true. It was true. When somebody do something wrong, they ain't just talking about the person as a person. Like that Miss Mavis child, yes, he used to work so and so. You remember he grew up by so and so? Used to be running around in that yard. Yes, we know him since he's small. Everybody is somebody. Even if you have nothing. Even if you have nothing in the world. Everybody was somebody. And then we got money in this country. And everybody went mad. We went mad. We broke up this country. Things that, I remember Michael Carew, David Carew, Dwayne Shepard, myself, Luke T. Luxing. Who else was in that line? Running through St. Crispin's Park in Woodbrook. Fine at $20. Dwayne Shepard, he's living in England now, or I think Holland or Belgium with his family. But Dwayne, we used to call each other blood brothers. Dwayne fined the $20. Dwayne fined at $20. Don't you understand? When you're a little boy, in our days, you fine at $20 is like you fine $100 or more. You know? We run straight down to Dairy Queen, which was on the other corner of, Woodbrook was a little place then. On the other corner of Lower Street, Dairy Queen was there. We bought burgers and fries, and we had a time and we shared, and everybody lying. And I want to fight for that kind of country again. I want to fight for a country where you care about your neighbor. Westmoreans. Listen now, where I live now, I live in a townhouse, a nice place. There are people to the left of me and people to the right of me. And both of them are separated from me by a wall. I'm sure that wall is 8 inches thick. But on the other side of that wall, if I put my hand on the wall and somebody put their hand on the other side of the wall, that is closer than it was possible to be when I grew up in Woodbrook. But here, I don't know my neighbors. I wave at them. They wave at me. I've never seen inside their house. They've never seen inside mine. We don't live that way again. We don't live that way again. I remember growing up here in somebody's house, watching TV, and the father come home, good evening, uncle. You're reaching people's house, you're looking around the door. Auntie, so-and-so here. Yeah, come inside and wait on them. You remember those days? Everybody, all the friends, everybody line up on the ground, watching TV in somebody's house. I don't remember those days. Remember the days when everything was, that whole community was your family? Remember those days? I would so love. I tell people, I went to St. Mary's College. I walk home every day from St. Mary's College. My son went to St. Mary's College, and I never let him step a foot on Pembroke Street. I would be the first in there to pick him up on an evening. We've ruined this country. Imagine what happened. A nation that was already blessed, it was already perfect. Trinidad and Tobago was already perfect. And God said, you know what? Let me bless you more. I'll give you all money. And that money curse us. That money curse this country. Oil money and all that energy money and all that bullshit they build and all them buildings in town and everything that they've done with every single oil dollar in this country made Trinidad and Tobago worse. None of it made it better. None of it, the oil booms, none of it. For a few well-connected people who got fabulously wealthy, it was nice for them. But for the rest of us, it brought burglar proofing. All of a sudden, we was too nice for other people. Can I with them, son? Yo, we real well off and them not. All of a sudden, the place stopped making sense. Everybody looking to make dollars. Everybody. Drugs. Oh, the next thing that come out of nowhere, drugs. I remember the first time that I heard that Trinidad had gangs. I was driving in a Rima, and somebody was talking about gangs. We have gangs now. I said, when did that happen? How did that happen? Did somebody buy a franchise? How do you just get gangs? How does that happen? What have to go wrong in your country? We didn't share the wealth. For all the money that passed through this country, Morva, Beetham, Lavantil, Sealots stay the same. For all the money that passed through this country, River Estate, Patna, Rich Plain, Bagatelle, Covine, Factory Road, Mason, Diamond Vale, these places didn't change, they didn't benefit. Saganga, Abipujad, Big Yard, Karanaj. You were able to, in fact, it got worse. Because instead of people taking a hustle to develop, you remember, you learn your trade, you learn what you is, what you're going to be, and you learn it, and you suffer, and you hustle, and you get to the point where things get a little better, and you gotta do better, and put up your little big house, and people know, shack, nice house, shack, big house, like the doctor. People know, and everybody children grew up with everybody children. No, we needed prestige schools, and we needed, well, if you have prestige schools, then we get junior and senior secondary schools, and that just made the shit worse. And then you're brought international schools, because that's blinging hyperdrive. International schools, and I'm not knocking it, I'm just saying that it's like we live in a country where public health is so bad that most of the people who could afford it don't go near public health. That is why we have so many St. Clair Medical Center, West Shore Medical Center, St. Augustine Medical Center, La Romaine, San Fernando. We have so many big private hospitals because our public hospitals are shit. They have a whole half amount nobody don't use, and nobody don't talk about that. They're building more hospitals in this country. So many things that wrong with what already exists, and they wouldn't fix it. You know why? Because fixing it, you have to care. You have to care about people. We've never voted a government. I mean, listen, Winston Gypsy Peters and the bullshit he talked when he got into office. Stephen Carey's wife was my son's first teacher in St. Andrews, Mrs. Carey's. And she was so good to my child that when he moved to the next class, and he was in tears telling Mrs. Carey's, we went looking for a perfect gift to buy for him to give her and tell her thank you and goodbye. That's the esteem I held the Carey's family in. And then Stephen Carey's got a job in government, and I said, well, shit, we get a good guy for a change. He do shit all. Give himself and his family contracts. It's like something in the water. I don't know, I'm afraid. It's like something in the water that you get in this place. I hear Vasant Bharat talk today, and Vasant say, Espine is the new call the heart. I wanted to call him to show him, if you had only take my call. Vasant, if Espine is the new call the heart, who is the new Ishwag Albaran Singh? You stinking, dirty bandit politician. Who is the new Ish? Who is the new Steve? Who is the new Brian Quaiton? But Vasant Bharat's job is to sit down on him a show and pretend PNM is the cancer alone. But PNM is not the cancer in this country alone. Because the UNC has had 3 terms. People don't know Pandey had 2. The UNC has had 3 terms, and somebody argued with me the other time. It's not, the Kamala government was a people's partnership. Bullshit. I was around it close. Ashwood Jack, he never went. Them fellas, Ashwood Jack and McCandle Daga and Prakash Ramadhan would show up for camera ops. They had no responsibility. That was not a People's Partnership government. That was a UNC government. And some hangers on. David Abdullah, Prakash Ramada, Winston Dukaran, and McCandle Leather. It was no partnership with UNC. UNC had 3 terms. And if the UNC was not criminally corrupt government too, they would have brought the criminals in the PNM to justice. You see, when the NAR won and had to deal with the IMF and the empty treasury and COLA and all of the marching, and because the 1% real spend money to destabilize Robbie. It was like when the Republicans didn't give Bill Clinton one good night's sleep, you know. Bill Clinton was under the cosh for the 2 terms every day. Like, what are they doing Trump now? It's the same thing. Robbie, as Prime Minister, didn't get a moment. Didn't get a moment. Everything was upside down and inside out. But the National Alliance for Reconstruction was supposed to jail the entire PNM cabinet from before. You see, all of them were supposed to jail. There was a man who ended up with a whole mountain in Santa Cruz. I want him to hear me say it. I want him to hear me say that I know that you never pay back the Agricultural Development Bank. You was on the board and you give yourself a loan and you buy a mountain in Santa Cruz and you never pay it back and you get debt forgiveness. Like Lenny said, and get debt forgiveness for Southland Mall. $25 million at a time, when $25 million was a lot of money. The NAR's job was supposed to be to jail all of them. The NAR's job, but you see, by the time the NAR found their feet, they sent this jackass Abu Bakr and his 114 gun-toting insurgents to hijack the democracy. And they made sure that the government of the day couldn't bring them to justice. You see, Selwyn Richardson was getting the work done. Selwyn Richardson had get back money from Shell for bribery. And another company, I think it was a Tesoro scandal. I don't have all the facts. But they had started to pull at some threads. Gene Miles, the debate that was taking place in the parliament, this guy who ended up as chairman of COP, Joseph Tony, was on his legs in the parliament in the Red House when Baka and the boys, well, this was Bilal Abdullah and the boys, stormed there and started to shoot up the place. And they were discussing erecting a statue to Gene Miles. Ironically, Selwyn Richardson was to pay the same fate because they brought assassins to kill him. Former Minister of National Security, former Justice Minister, Selwyn Richardson, was assassinated. Them fellas didn't even leave footprints. That's the Trinidad and Tobago and our 1%. So when little jokey politicians jump out themselves and tie everything to Steve Jobs and the dots, you know. You see, my grandmother was Fadwa Azar. Natalie Azar. That's my mother. My father was Elias Alexander. Jarouj land here and get name Alexander. Syrian Lebanese. So the Azar family is my cousins. Because my grandmother was an Azar. All the Jarouj and any Syrian Alexander, my family. I am half Syrian. But I am half Syrian who grew up with contempt for the Syrian people in Trinidad and Tobago long before they get into drugs and 1% and all the bullshit that they do. I had contempt for the Syrian people in Trinidad and Tobago for what they did my mother. Because my mother is not a Syrian. And my father was told that if you marry her, and in a couple of days, they're going to have their 55th wedding anniversary. Whole families fall apart that had their mouth to wash on my mother and my father. They suffer them, and they suffer my father, and they cut him off. And they said, if you marry her, and they call her Abid, my mother was a nigger. They was calling my mother Abid. The Syrian word for nigger is Abid. Ask Kit Rowley if he know what all the Syrians wrong him. Just call him when he not with them. Because Syrians call my mother Abid, nigger. Now we have African blood in us. Because my mother's father was mixed from Caracas. My mother's mother was a white woman from Portugal. My mother's mother was a white woman from Portugal. I grew up with contempt for Syrian people in Trinidad and Tobago. I never liked them. I was never part of no Syrian Lebanese organization. I was never invited. I've never been to a Syrian wedding. I've never been to a Syrian, and all of them for a while, when Philip profile started to raise, make friends with me, you know, thinking that all is forgiven. My mother is my mother. And until she forgive you all, I's a Abid. I tell Trinidad and Tobago, I don't care to never drive in Goodwood Park, but I want to walk in Beaton. Tonight, a black woman in El Pecos, my cousin Susan Akwi, my father's sister, daughter, own El Pecos. And she, Susan Akwi Camacho, married to Richard Camacho. She's the sweetest half Syrian you will ever meet, my cousin, Susan Akwi Camacho. And I'm in El Pecos tonight. And I want the Syrian community to understand, some little jackass, rich Syrian knuckle dragon bitch says Syrian people hurt me, yes. They disrespected my mother. My father have a brother, Michael Alexander, who's a pilot. The whole country thinks Michael Alexander is a jackass. I apologize to his 2 sons and his wife because he's a jackass. And Michael Alexander bad talk my mother to me because they felt like they were above her. My mother, for the rest of my life, I will remember. This is not hate, this is contempt. For the rest of my life. And I'll tell you why I connected the dots. Because the Syrian community in this country never thought that there would be somebody like me who know their names and the games that they involved in. They never knew that this Abid would come to be as close as I am to public office. I said today, there is in England, it is now law. It is now law in England. I want to tell you what the name of the law is. They think they're ready. Unexplained wealth. Faris think he know. Faris, wait, no man. Wait. You think your little bullshit to go after gold teeth and gold chain is what we care about? Unexplained wealth is when you have a cloth store in town and you own 500 houses in Trinidad. That is unexplained wealth. But the UNC and the PNM take Syrian cabal 1% money, but this half Syrian will not. I'm not saying all Syrian bad. Don't get me wrong. There are Syrian people in this country is the salt of the earth, and all of them have been given a bad name by some greedy, disgusting, inbred, egotistical sons of bitches. And I will hold them. And I want Sabga clan to hear me say, I will hold you you in mind for the rest of my life. You never thought Nicholas Sabga, little stunting jackass Nicholas Sabga, who don't have two thoughts to string together to have a conversation with me. Little Nicholas Sabga given Guardian Media to run and determines that because Philip speaks about the family, this is what this jackass tell me on the phone. Phil, you speak about the family, we can have you on CNC3. Hema is a 1% puppet. Hema Ranki soon. She dare not speak against them. And the only reason Fazir Muhammad had me on his show on Friday is because Fazir Muhammad is like Stefan Rees. Hema used to work for Jack Warner. She's a private dancer for money. Do what you want her to do. But Fazir and Stefan on Synergy TV, Chinley and Stuart Young holding that red man down, eh? They holding him down. But the game that they play is that we could fire you. But the fellow who running Synergy TV, O'Brien Haynes, a black man, knows that the only thing that holding Synergy TV up right now is Stefan Rees and Breaking Dawn. Because nobody don't watch nothing else on Synergy. The only show they're watching is Breaking Dawn. But Chinley, who have real Howard, you know you have questions to answer. When Suzette Lauer fall out with me and tell me she want to call Howard and give him my business, I said, babe, I'll give you his number. This is not a sprint. These sons of bitches, no, I don't like them. I detest what they stand for, what they represent. They've used connections in this country. Fellas like Joe Paris, I don't like these people. I want them to hear me say, I don't like you. I think that you are a boil on the backside of life. People like you make life hard for everybody else. It would have been better for this nation if fellas like Howard Chinley and Joe Paris were never born. Using political connections to advance their own self-interest, feather their own nest. That's what political connections are for. Keith Rowley bring his lawyer Michael Kwamena today on the TV to tell this nation, all you can't talk. Michael Kwamena, you stunting son of a bitch, I want you to hear me say this. As long as you could sue me every day and twice on Sundays, and I am seeing Michael Kwamena in court on the 19th of October, and the whole of Trinidad, welcome to come to that matter. Michael Kwamena, I know that you have people in your law firm whose job it is to sit down and transcribe everything I say. I want you to hear me tell you this. Not for length, not for breadth, not for inclination, brother. When a day come when we will stand silent and watch wrongdoing done in this country. Keith Rowley has questions to answer. He get away from Landate on a technicality. He and Emily are supposed to make a jail, and you know that. Skippy Barrington Thomas gave the nation all of the evidence it needs. But this is Trinidad and Tobago, where 14 regional corporations could send on 14 regional corporation letterhead that Kiss Baking Company breaking the freaking law, and not one member of the municipal police doing its job. This is Trinidad and Tobago. Teresa, I don't know if you're allowed in the courtroom. If not, stand up outside. Philip Edward Alexander, I told the last judge when I faced Michael Coleman, I said, Your Honor, I operate in a different space in Trinidad and Tobago. None of this affects me. These matters that I fight is for a better Trinidad and Tobago for people. I don't go in public hospital, I fight in hospital. I don't go in ambulance, I fight in ambulance. I don't care what these 1%ers teeth in, it don't affect me. I could live my life. But Your Honor, my father told me, to whom much is given, much is expected. My role in society is to defend the weak, the downtrodden, the broken, the dispossessed, and those being taken advantage of by public office holders, people elected to high corridors of power, betraying the public trust. Keith Rowley should have been tried and jailed for treason for Emailgate. And again, he get away. His whole career, Keith Christopher Mugabe Saga Rowley, king of the infidels, first black Syrian, Keith Rowley, who signed documents for 31 years saying he only had 2 children until he get elected to office and bring 2 more. You going to shut me up, Michael Commoner, in your freaking dreams? When they suck that fat out of you with the bypass you do, they suck out brain cells too. I not you. My life's purpose is not to link up and fix up and get every appointment I could get and every brief that I could get and fatten myself. Do you know, Michael Kwamena, that your Syrian friends that you line with have a name for people like you? Do you know that? I am a half Syrian, half Abid. And if my mother is an Abid, I is an Abid. Look up what that means. Stand up in El Pecos tonight, this black woman woke up to me and she said, "Are you Philip Alexander? Mom, I hope you're watching it tonight, you know, because you touched me." I was in 2 minds about doing this video tonight because I'm ex. She woke up to me, she said, Are you the fellow who ran as the independent? I said, "Yes, Philip Edward Alexander." She said, "That's the name." She said, I followed you, I voted for you, I supported you, I loved everything that you were saying. I hope you're doing it again. I said, "We found a party." She said, "What?" I said, "Find me on Facebook and I'll give you all of the information." She made me feel like this is for something. And as a sidetrack to my black brothers and sisters in Trinidad and Tobago, I want to apologize to what my Syrian family has done to this country. I want to apologize to Trinidad and Tobago for what the 1% has done to this nation. We've twisted politics on its ear. We've taken journalism and made it a farce. We've taken banking and used it against the people. Nothing in Trinidad and Tobago works because everything is being milked to get blood from a stone so that the rich could get richer and richer and richer. When you have a small penis and nobody like you, you need money and a BMW or a Porsche so them little Indian journalists will come home with you. And they're on CNC3 and TV6. For hire. The Venezuelans is not the first ones asking big bucks, you know. They're not the first ones. This country is broken, not by the little black sufferers with the gun that all they're taking videotape of and saying, "Jail them!" To my white friends, stop the bullshit and the stunting and telling me about, Nigel Ferreira boy, when I tell you I vex with you, for the shit you talk about kill them, kill all. The people you're supposed to have that contempt for is the bankers and the 1% and the Chamber of Commerce that destroy this nation and have them so. You don't curse the fruit, curse the tree. You don't vote, you don't curse the fruit, curse the tree. To the black people of Trinidad and Tobago, I apologize for every black person that got education, that got a degree, that came back and pissed on you. Not one black leader in this country has found the time to come back and tell you, stand together, work together, share, build. You are a force. Without you, KFC collapse tomorrow. Without you, Massey collapse tomorrow. Without you, KFC and Massey Royal Bank collapse tomorrow. You are a force. When courts bill and fence bill and standards bill, they bill it because you are an economic mighty force. And I apologize to the black people of Trinidad and Tobago that nobody is teaching you that. They don't want you buying land and putting up house. They want you working and spending. Indian people to save. Syrian people, my Syrian grandfather, who used to run Elias Man Shop on Independence Square by the cathedral, he tell my father, when an Indian come in, the staff will attend to them. When a Chinese come in, the staff will attend to them. But if a black person walk in my store, I attend them personally, because black people are spending money. And it is high time black people in Trinidad and Tobago stopped allowing themselves to be ridden like donkeys. Stop it. Stop being laborer and consumer. Stop being chained up to defend a political ideology that makes you a slave. Stop it. Stop going in the people's church and giving them all your money and getting nothing in return. Stop it. Start to work together. Work together. Go and find each other business and support it. Stop bad talking. Stop killing. Stop killing one another. Stop going in the pirogue and moving the cocaine. Find something else to do. Don't take the small money. Don't take it and think that you're going to live long. You're not. Don't let them chain you up. Don't let them tell you put spinning rims on it. Forget that shit. The black people in Tobago, no. The black people in Tobago, you could have on 2 different side of slippers and you don't care, but you own land. Black people in Tobago, grandchildren of Africa in Tobago have a different mindset. But in Trinidad, Eric Williams was too close. He was too close. He break them. He break them with URP. He break them with CPEP. You don't want to work? We care. We need a house. We got rob from them and build a house for you. Just vote for we. Now, I am not black enough to be a black leader, but I am Trinidadian enough to call every Trinidadian my sister or my brother. I want to tell you something. None of it matters when you're dead. None of it. Plenty people who are walking this journey with me, Raoul Pantin, Lincoln Myers, dead and gone. Dana Sitahal, dead and gone. None of it matters. Anthony Sabga, dead and gone. And the size of your coffin and the size of your funeral and the size of your tomb don't matter. Cockroach and worm going and eat you unless they burn you and sprinkle you. It don't matter. It is for nothing. Live good now. Live good. Live a good life now. Everybody. Everybody, from the moment you start to live a good life now. But keep Rowley, I want you to hear me say, I think you're a stunting jackass. I think you are the worst prime minister this country has ever had. And this country has never had a good prime minister. Robbie was tolerable at best. But he too was a victim of his ego. We've never had a prime minister in this country who cared enough about the people to have policies and plans that lifted from the bottom up. Until you form a government that goes into Morva, Beetham, Lavatel and Silots and does an experiment there that puts all these people in jobs, give them homes, give them the opportunity to right-size themselves and build back their communities, celebrate their culture, educate their children, look after them when they're sick, feed them morning, noon, and night. If you don't create that reality for them, the ship that is Trinidad and Tobago will continue forevermore. Forevermore. And there will come a time, if we don't stop it, when these people are going to eat out everything. And people in Westmoreland who thought themselves 1% because they're skin white and they're living out away from the black people. So you're thinking as a 1%, you're not. You're a high-class Abid. That's how they watch you. They say the middle class work was to keep the lower class from them. Westmoreans, your job is a buffer between Cocorite and Goodwood Park. Now you work. Glencoe job is a buffer between Carnage and Goodwood Park. You get it yet? You get it yet? So all of you walking around Westmoreland tonight, thinking that you is somebody. There will come a time, I went through it in 1990 following that coup. I went through it where I saw hungry people of every class willing to do anything for food in 4 days. The UNC under Pandey robbed this country, plundered and pillaged this nation. He and his friends, yes, they built some police stations. Yes, they built some schools, but we didn't need more police stations and we didn't need more schools. We needed a functional education system and a law enforcement that works. But we continued the rogue police and the criminal gangs in the police service and an education system that was failing 50% in the children. So you're housing them, but you're not educating them. What was the point? The point was to give your friends contract to build school. Miss me with your bullshit. Don't build another house. Don't build another school. Don't build nothing. Fix what here now. We spent hundreds of millions of dollars building Mount Hope and you're letting Mount Hope fall apart. The general hospital could be fixed while you're sitting down watching that land up between Frederick Street and Charlotte Street, waiting for the right time to thief more money and build a massive hospital that we do not need. Do not take any Chinese loan to come and build no massive hospital to fool black people and tell them, look, it's shining in the sky, but you're not telling them, you, your children, and your grandchildren, we go tax all your mother and us to pay for it. We go tax all you. Call him Bert. Is a shithong. He's a shithong engineer. And he's a shithong Minister of Finance. And you don't want to hear it, but I had to tell my Syrian partner Moses tonight in the gym. I had to tell him all the things you complaining about your business catching its ass. All of that you complaining about. The rest of the world booming. Guyana booming, Grenada booming, St. Kitts booming, St. Lucia booming, Dominica booming, Trinidad suffering. All the other countries in the world booming, even Rwanda standing up, Trinidad suffering. What is the common thread? PNM. The PNM came into this country like a literal, this PNM, this rowdy PNM, they're just riding black people, you know. But black people get caught up in this red and ready bullshit. And they knew that. They knew that. My partner and them who bring down foreign people to tell them how to get black people to vote against their own self and celebrate it. You hear that? And what they do, that's what they did. But I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago something tonight. Kid Rowley ain't get away with Landate, and he ain't get away with Cleaver Heights, as he name it. He ain't get away. He not getting away, and he not getting away with AV oil. He not getting away. Ketos. Or you could burn it all down. We will bring forensic and accountants and we will find you and Emil. I want Kwame not to hear me say these things. You like to sue? Sue. Sue all of we. I want Trinidad to get brave, get balls and stand up against the madness of this country. And I love when I sit down in the court and you hear how I talk. It sounds different when a lawyer reading my words out loud. And that's what they do. They sit down and transcribe my videos to bring it in the court. And what I just say, they'll transcribe that too and read that for the judge. There's a different kind of reality inside of there. But I want to know, at what point did these Kabbalists think that our rights stop because Faris is the Attorney General? You think that you are going to use the law of the land to hijack this nation? And brother, I will stick a pin right there. Trinidad and Tobago, we have to wake up and see the reality of the PNM and the UNC. There is no functional law enforcement in this country right now to act on that information that Rudal Munilal bust in the parliament. So we can beat up like fish on the docks. Beat up. But we ain't getting nothing. Because it ain't going nowhere. Kiss Baking Company breaking the law, knowing that they're breaking the law. TV6 wrote me 3 months ago. Sell us that info. It's looking like something. I give them all. It's TV6, but I ain't care. Look all. I waited. That can't make a story. Because it's Kiss Baking Company. And if Kiss Baking Company breaking the law and you expose that on TV6 and CNC3 and they pull the ads, you're in shit. So the criminals at that level, because they're criminals, the people who sit down in the boardroom in Kiss Baking Company are criminals. They are conspiring to break the law and to drive authentic entrepreneurs out of business. Authentic bakeries that are paying their bills, hiring people in the community, working in the community. Kiss Baking Company is breaking the law to drive them out of business. This is not a real country right now. It cannot be considered a real country right now because we've had Mickey Mouse governments. They've made a puppy show of this Trinidad and Tobago. But I want to tell you something though. If you want a better nation, if you want a country that works, if you want healthcare and education and jobs and affordable food, if you want a nation that is secure tonight, the drug trade, the human trafficking, all the bullshit done, we have a donkey trade now coming from Venezuela. Donkeys. And a vet write me and ask me, Philip, all it takes is one sick donkey with some South American flu to wipe out all the livestock in Trinidad and Tobago. Anybody taking it on? No, because they're hoping you get distracted by bullshit so they could continue to rape, plunder, and pillage. This government is rogue. The opposition waiting in the wings to come and eat more. See the PNM and UNC for the cancer that they are. Stand up, Trinidad and Tobago. Be brave. You need courage. It is for your children. It is for your ancestors. It is for yourself. 1.4 million of us stand up and the rest of them stand down. Trust me when I tell you. If you're provoking my people, I will block you so fast you will think that this page never existed. Slow your roll and stay in your freaking lane. Don't come on this wall with no racism. We don't tolerate that bullshit. Follow what I'm saying? Because as fast as I block you, everything you said will disappear. Stay in your lane. Trinidad and Tobago, this Saturday at noon at 19 Stanmore Avenue, the Patriots assemble. We are assembling in our numbers, the fastest growing political party in this country's history. Kamala know the writing on the wall. They have to try everything and send all kind of bullshit artists to tell you about split vote and all kind of crap. They know it over. The UNC have to stand down. The only political organization, but you see they won't because they're afraid of it. The only political organization in this country that has the ability to turn the madness of this country around is the Progressive Empowerment Party. Our plans, programs, policies, and ideas, they create an opportunity for everybody in Trinidad and Tobago to go forward. You want a better nation? Join the PEP. We meet this Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue. Come down in your numbers, bring your friends, bring your family. Black, white, red, green, every shade in between. Tall, short, fat, slim, gay, straight. We don't separate people by dividers. We unite, one people, under one flag. Don't fall for the make-believe bullshit artists. I see a next party because the PEP have cups, they put out a cup. Oh Christ. Get an original idea now, man. Country 3 years after it built is a dirt track. You're getting paid to build road, man, Calco. Avin Kalu, you and your father-in-law, Roger Ganesh, who was the director of highways, the CEO of Calco now, build a decent freaking road for the money, man. The Americans came here and built roads 80 years ago in Carlson Field, Wallerfield, and Chagaramas. The North Coast Road that now starting to fall apart, the Yankees built that. Them roads stand up 80 years. You trying to tell me you can't build a road that can stand up for 3? Come on, man. Either that or mystery with your bullshit now.
If they are the reason why the economy goes round,
when you're voting,
vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the bachelors that
them alone can float.
when you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the Melville Heights,
East, west, north, and south. Just as how you vote them in.
vote them out.
Lucifer and Satan working together. They say the devil is quote scripture from the Bible. When you listen to them talk, the sweet you just want to undress. Give me the love. They're giving you all the fancy talk and molesting you. Molesting you in your bank account. Molesting you in your fridge. Molesting you in your light bill. Molesting you in your phone bill. I want to ask a question to all the sycophants, to all the followers of the PNM and the UNC. If you don't know what the government is for, I just want to ask you a question, right? Just answer this question. Don't answer for me, but answer for you. If the job of fixing the traffic is not the government job, whose job it is? If the job of fixing the flooding is not the government job, whose job it is? If the job of fixing the fact that you don't have water in your tap 24/7 is not the government job, whose job it is? If the job of making sure they have investment taking place in this country and jobs for the people, if that is not the job of the government, whose job it is? The price of food, if you can't afford it, if it is not the government job to make sure we're growing food to bring the price of food down, whose job it is? Open your mind, open your eyes. What you think is the government job? The well-being of the citizen is the function of government. Healthcare is the function of government. Education, function of government. If your child fails, that's the government fault. The government's supposed to create an environment where all of the children in this country have a chance at real and purposeful education. When you go to the hospitals and the hospitals fail, that's the government fail. When you sit in traffic for 2 hours every single day, that's the government fail. When the Tobago police service is corrupt and rogue, that's the government fail. When they're paying $7 billion to mind the army every year, nobody know the ass we have an army for, government fail. When the sea bridge break down and people prices going up and life is pressure, government fail. When the banks raping the people of Tobago, they have no policies to guide and direct where you could charge fees and that you must pay interest on depositors' funds, government fail. Government fail. Government fail. The reason, purpose, and function of government is the well-being of the citizens of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And you need to get that. Those people are your servants. Their purpose is to make your life better. And if they are not doing it, fire them. We need a government built on raising the fortunes of all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We cannot throw around the phrase third wealthiest nation in the Western Hemisphere and have 700,000 people living below the poverty line. We cannot continue like that. We are in a crisis because the greedy can't stop eating. You need a government that comes into office to make sure that the well-being of the citizens is the function, reason, and purpose of government, and that all of us, like a rising tide lifts all boats, like all of us will get a better chance at a better life. Give all of our children the opportunity to maximize their full potential and get the hell out of their way. Don't tell me prestige schools, pink skin brighter. Miss me with that bullshit. It is time to level the play field right across the board. Right across the board, level the play field. I want to know, like I grew up, color and class and race and creed and religion don't make a fart of a difference. All we is one family, one people under one flag. It is time to get us back to there.
Register and put them out. Totally put them out. State no finger and put them out. Rescue the country. Put them out with tempo. They happy in vain.
Let's put our country
Together again. Put them out with calypso and joyous refrain. Let's put our country together again.
I'm inviting the chairman of the party for this whole Lyndon Mark MC, and you say, can I call him? I told you the last time you asked, get yourself a camera and set yourself up. I'll invite you in and you can be part of the live. Look for me on the link and send me the link and you can come inside. Come and be a part of the live if you want. I don't have the ability to do calling right now because the phone that you're supposed to call on is the phone that I'm broadcasting on. What is the number of this phone, boy? I can't remember the number of the phone that are on. This phone. I have another phone and it has a number. I think the number, okay. So let's try it. Try, Lyndon, try 308 Phil. See if that works. 308 Phil. And now everybody know the number. Lyndon, try that number and see if it works. If it works, I'll take the call. If not, you have to come in live on the video. Tomato. You have a real good name, you know. Your mother do your wickedness with that name. My last name was Atto. But I knew a girl, her last name was Mango, and the name they gave Julie. Julie Mango. Come on, man. You do it. And I used to make a joke and say my last name was Lance. I want to name my first child Ambu. Are they still fighting up with this Akash character? Akash, slow your roll, now, man. Don't make me have a block here, now, man. You want to stick around? You want to be here? Respect the members, now, man. Looking forward to the day when a party card will have no weight. Where's Felicia Holder? Where's Lyndon Mark? All they use the technology, now, man. Anyway, we're running out. We're in a whole new hour. And only paid me for a second hour. Let me move like them big shots. Lyndon, do you have a camera on the phone that you're using? Come on the live. Come on the live and chat. Who else is here? 308 Phil. Oh gosh, Andy Suku. You're wicked and you're bad. Who else outside there? Anthony Senadan. I wonder if Anthony dressed and could make a contribution. This is one of our chief members now, Anthony. Anthony is in Canada doing yeoman service for this party, making sure that everything's ship-shape and functional. They're helping us with raising funds to keep the wheels on the ground, keep the lights on. This party have no deep pocket 1% financiers, and we want none. But we need your help. You had to help. You had to pay your way. Give you all something. All $20, all $50, $100. Some all them know they're living well on trust fund and thing. You can write a check for $5,000 and say, watch, Pep, hold that, fix the country, and we will. Right now, we're working on, Carla Jean came back to Trinidad today to work on setting up the South office, and that's happening now. We're going to be opening the South office in 6 weeks. 6 weeks after that, we open the East office. We already have the keys. Mr. Bennett and Tara, thank you both very much, and Tara's husband, Ralph. Thank you all very, very much for you. And if you have a property in the north, anywhere around Arangwes, Sawa, or any main road that you would like to lend us as the PEP, because we can't pay no rent, $1 a year. But if you would like to help us, we need one. We have PEP headquarters, and we could use that for the north, and we could use that and the west. But it would be good to have a separate from HQ. And if you have a place in Central, we would like that as well. Help us out, you know. A small office, it don't have to be big. 1,000 square feet and we cool. What you want, Felicia Hole is the chairman of the party. Like you're busy. Let me don't disturb you. Lyndon Mark, I want to tell you, the next time you see the live, come on the live with a camera. I wonder if Kenneth look around. Oh, you know, Kenneth look is the head of the advisory council, the chair of the advisory council, working hard behind the scenes to make sure the Progressive Empowerment Party is ready for government. We have an opportunity
You
here.
catch,
This is Kenneth.
you catch
Kenneth,
me,
good evening,
you
sir.
catch me in some shrimp curry, man.
Oh gosh, sorry for this. The whole
No problem, no
scene
problem,
here,
no problem.
I mean, everybody on the live scene.
No problem. Good night, everybody.
This is Kenneth Luke, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to bring him on board so you all can see members of the party hard at work.
PP hard at work, having dinner. PP on a roll. Everybody needs to understand. We need your contribution, please. Pretty soon, I will be making a personal outreach to every member to begin a funding exercise the world have never seen before.
Nice.
Guys, where we are today, check for us. Right now, the live went up to almost 500. This week, we want to see 1,000.
Nice.
So thank you, everybody. Have a good night. God bless you.
Go and enjoy your curry.
Love you, everybody.
Lord. Pleasure. That's Kenneth Luke, the man have a feeling for curry shrimp now. They have curry shrimp in where he is, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. Who else outside there that want to come and say something? I see let me bring my boy Derek now, man. I never bring my boy Derek onto our live. I wonder if he well, Kenneth done lower the standard, he come out with the white meter, so I guess anything goes. It's Philip video, you can do what you want. This ain't Guardian Media. Yeah, Kendall Baggy, I seen your name there, you know. I want to call you up on the live, and you taking that call? Look at them. All of a sudden, they're bashful. Yeah, well, Akash, my man of business, Dave Locks, tell me to block you, you know. You say you're self-employed and working at UE and your profile pictures are a slice of cake. Come now, man. What they send you to do? No roti for Philip. Jenny, oh God, what kind of Indian you gonna make? Philip, call me back if you like. I'm calling me. Derek. My brother.
Yes, good night, Mr. Philip. Good night. Good night to all the papas.
You know you're in the big league now. You're on the big video.
I would just like to say, that Trinidad and Tobago, they will have a next chance to fix our beautiful country, and Mr. Philip Alexander and the Progressive Empowerment Party is the one and only chance to fix it.
Thank you, Derek. It was nice having you. I hope you're mobilizing the community for Saturday. Bring people. We're looking to hit some big numbers this Saturday.
Yes. I'll try my best.
Thank you, my brother. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Say good night to the family for me.
Yes, same to you. Good night.
Let me see if Dave Locks, you have a camera? Bring Dave Locks on the thing, eh? Oh, God. The whole place shall down. So what is going on with you, Lyndon Mac, that you don't have a camera phone that you could come in on the live, go reboot and come back now, man. Only have me running 14 minutes overtime. I hope only paying overtime money. Philip done not getting no salary. Madam Chairman, the video running long tonight, you know. Hope I get a raise in pay.
Whatever.
2 times nothing is nothing.
Exactly.
Come invite them Saturday. Call them out for Saturday.
Firstly, good
Next time we
evening.
have cake.
It's your turn to buy cake, huh? You lost. Wait, hold on 1 second. Un momento. Speaking about eating, weren't you supposed to eat a pack of cards after you lost to me in that All Fours game?
Adisa said that it wasn't a real game. Adisa said that we have a rematch. So
Nah. Those were not the terms. Adisa can't tell you. You and I.
So is so.
Listen, sir, you and I agreed. I don't like that, sir. Right.
I will eat a
Anyway.
pack of cards. Michelle Sohan will make a cake for me in the shape of a pack of cards.
Exactly. Oh, me that. Just really excited to see all the new faces on the live tonight. Akash, you gave a lot of trouble. I hope. Did you block him? I hope you're here listening. Okay, yeah, I hope you're here listening to the message. Everybody else who's new to the live, welcome. And we inviting you to come out this Saturday. A lot of people were asking, besides Philip, who's the rest of the team, there's myself as chairman, Janet Lemon, Cricky as PRO, Anthony Defoe, head of membership, Shari Wilson, our party organizer, Giselle John Young, our treasurer, Satish, head of finance, Misty Autumn Day, our research officer, Sean Sunarine, our deputy chair. Did I leave out anybody? I don't think.
Richard Blaze, Michelle Davis.
Richard Blaze, who is heading up our North Hub, Michelle Davis, who is heading up our South Hub. Come meet us this Saturday. I'm very excited to meet everybody. I think if you're coming, I advise you to come early. Saturday looks like another packed out day. We may have to if you want air condition, come early. Because if you come late, you might have to sit down under the mango tree. But that's okay.
It looked like the meet and greet will reach out in the street this Saturday.
It looks so, yeah. So,
yeah. Enjoy the rest of your evening, ma'am.
You too. Bye.
Peace. Gangster thing now, man. Chairman gave them gangster sign and thing. Somebody tell me Lyndon phone on, his camera on, and I run into the list, and I'm not seeing that is so or true. Lyndon, you know how this thing is work, boy? Find me, just go on your, and find me, and everybody turn off the camera fast, because you're afraid Philip called them on. Anyway, look, it's getting late. Lyndon Mac, if you want to, and Lyndon Mac, man to man, get on a boat and come to Trinidad this Saturday. I know you are a 7-day Adventist, but you come in for me and you to have lunch. Come to Trinidad because we have to discuss Tobago, and I want the rest of the people hearing me tell Lyndon Mac this. The only reason Lyndon Mac don't have a senior position in the PEP right now is because Lyndon Mac is sticking. Lyndon Mac, Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue. Yes? Anyway, to the rest of you, this Saturday at noon, we want all of you to come. I see the numbers holding high. That means all they want the video to run. But I really, the people who are going to view it tomorrow, they really set aside an hour. And Felicia saying, call them and make people in the town. Now you will make the ratings go up. But Chalana, your boy Lyndon, organize him now. Chalana and Chester Birchwood, organize your Tobago squad now, man. Yeah, let's get Tobago up and running. Because as soon as we open that East office, we need to go to Tobago and open the Tobago office. They ducking me. Look at that, boy. Lord, Father. Teresa said he's my son's father. Who's that, Lyndon Mac? I didn't know that. Lyndon, welcome to the family, bro. Anyway, Lyndon said, did you say get on a boat? Yes, shame. This man come to Trinidad on a jet ski. What's the boat? Get on the Galleon's passage, the man. Walk with a ladder in case the thing don't reach all the way down. Trinidad and Tobago. All the bullshit aside, you see what's going on. Rome is burning. Camelot is collapsing. They're making a mockery and a mess of our country. They're making a pappy show of Trinidad and Tobago. We could be a paradise on earth. We could be a first world developed nation. We don't have to be a third world cesspool. We just have to stop voting charlatans and shitons into office that will lie to you. Imagine your prime minister tell you that we don't have enough land to grow food. This country that was a net food exporter in the 70s, election time, you know what you have to tell Keith Rowley? Miss me with your bullshit. We had enough of you on this shit talk. You want to lie to people and make them feel we can't grow food. So Hadco and Amco and Massey could continue to import billions of dollars to feed the people. And you think we're stupid. You thought you was talking to monkeys and manicoos. We know what you're doing. But the problem is that the people of Trinidad and Tobago, they heart too good. They heart too good. When people bad talking them, it's not that they're stupid, They heart good. They just watch all and say, oh God, mommy, look at him now, man, he talking so nice. He can't be so bad. That's how people just end up in bad relationships and working for shithounds. Because the sweet talk at the start, what they say? What sweet in goat mouth? And we just always get catch. 5 years of Keith Rowley is too much. Somebody tell me. The problem is not the voting for Keith Rowley, The problem is dealing with the mindset that would contemplate voting for Keith Rowley. And that's a fact. There are people who still do not understand. When I went on Fazil's show, not this year, last year, and he put me on the spot for calling the Prime Minister a jackass. And I said last year, people think I have a crystal ball. Last year I said the whole country think Keith Rowley is a jackass. And he said, What about those people who vote for him? I say most of the people who vote for Keith Rowley wouldn't vote for him again. And you see Snake and Fitzgerald Hines and that water skating thing, that is symptomatic. And instead of that jackass Fitzgerald Hines going and build a bridge with Snake, they went and charged that boy $400. We upside down, inside out, and twist. We don't have leaders. We don't have leaders. Shit snakes and jackasses masquerading as leaders. But the people of Trinidad and Tobago deserve better. You deserve better. I am telling you, you deserve better. You deserve a better nation. You deserve better education for your children. You deserve better health care. You deserve much more affordable food. You deserve the opportunity to own your home, even if you're a minimum wage earner. Government has the power to do all of those things. The $25 billion that Manning and Kamala pick up and hand Dupree could have built 200,000 houses in this country and still have change. I see this stunting jackass Lizama Leasing want to tell Trinidad and Tobago about $29 billion. $29 billion from the what? The subsidy where you want to spend the 29 billion. Laurel Lizama Leasing, I want to spend it going after people like you who get fake scholarships. What did you do with the $500,000 that you get? What did you study? What did you become with the $500,000 that Joe Newell Williams and Manning thief from the treasury and give you? Miss me with all your bullshit. Stop wasting the people's time. It is time we had a nation that works and a government that really represented the people. And if you want that, this Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue, come and become part of the fastest growing political party in this country's history, the Orange Family. My mother say Fazir and then call up my name the next 2 nights on the show, saying, as he said, I hear my name calling on urban radio stations too. And I want all of you to hear, if you want me on your show, my number is 682-2110. Janice Lemon Creek is the PRO. We going anywhere. And I wanted to say this too. A couple of people got led astray to a fake party a couple months ago. And a couple people, not much, but I want all of our people to come home. Tonight, 2 different people called me and say, Phil, you know, I said, you gotta say another word. Stanmore Avenue is your home, friend. Come home. If you were led astray and distracted with foolishness, I have made mistakes in my life. Dysfunctional woman is my Achilles heel. So I know what it is like to get distracted by a smile. Come back to the Progressive Empowerment Party. Everybody, we want all of us together, one people under one flag. Say it together, say it strong, join hands, link up, and I forgive and I forget. The Bible says, throw it as far as the east is from the west. I don't carry and I don't want to carry no load. I don't remember none of this bullshit. I want to go after the offenders who have robbed this country. I want to follow them anywhere on this earth just to get our money back, bring it back and redevelop this country to the benefit of the people. You know what $1 trillion could do to Trinidad and Tobago? We could put a man on the moon. Let us get our money back. I want that. Vote me into office and that is what I will do. That is what I will do. Kamala say, I hear Kamala on a Monday night say she's gonna do the same thing. I say, Kamala, open your bag and see if any life sport money in there. Put that back first. What this woman, Joyce Meyer. Joyce Meyer say, a fella tell her, Joyce, if I win the lotto, I gain you all the money. Joyce said, don't tell me that. If you can't give me the $5 in your pocket now, you ain't give me that then. Kamala, you want to help Trinidad and Tobago? Forget about going after PNM singers. Find the life sport money. Go after Calco and Gopals and the rest of them. Go after Ishan Steve. Help us get back them billions. And save with the bullshit about you talking about PNM when you know you're in criminal conspiracy yourself. It is time for a better nation, Trinidad and Tobago. And you're not going to get it voting charlatans into office. Let them talk till the belly string, navel string bust. You know the line. They've had a term in office and they wasted it. It's time for a real government. Vote yourself a champion now. People who are courageous, who are willing to stand for this country. Vote yourself a better nation. The Progressive Empowerment Party. Tomorrow at noon. And if you come in and you want to bring puffs and pies and cheese paste sandwich and thing, fix up. We like all of that. Until tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.